Black waitress is always watched by a lumberjack in a simple diner. Until one day, something unexpected happened. The bitter cold nipped at Anna's nose as she hurried along the snow-covered sidewalk. The small town was quiet, as it always was this early in the morning. Anna pulled her coat tighter, her breath visible in the frigid air. She reached the diner just as the first light of dawn crept over the horizon. The closed sign still hung on the door, but Anna could see the warm glow of the lights inside. She pulled out her key and unlocked the door, the bell jingling as she entered. "Morning, Anna," called Joe from the kitchen. He was the cook and owner of the diner. "Cold one today, huh?" "Yeah, it's freezing out there," Anna replied, hanging up her coat. She tied her apron around her waist and started her morning routine. The diner was small, but cozy. The aroma of fresh coffee and baking bread filled the air. Anna wiped down the counter, set out the condiments, and started brewing the first pot of coffee. As the morning wore on, the regular customers started to trickle in. Anna greeted them with a smile, pouring coffee and taking orders. But despite her friendly demeanor, she could feel their eyes on her, judging, questioning. Anna was used to it. As the only black woman in this small, predominantly white town, she was always under scrutiny. She kept her head down, focusing on her work. The bell jingled, signaling a new customer. Anna looked up and saw him, the lumberjack. He was a tall, burly man with a thick beard and piercing eyes. He stomped the snow off his boots and sat at his usual table in the corner. Anna approached him cautiously. "Morning. What can I get for you?" He looked up at her, his gaze intense. "Coffee. Black." His voice was gruff. Anna nodded and went to get his coffee. As she poured, she could feel his eyes on her back. It made her uneasy. She set the mug down in front of him. "Anything else?" He shook his head, not saying a word. Anna hurried away, her heart beating a little faster. There was something about him that put her on edge. As the day went on, Anna couldn't shake the feeling of unease. Every time she glanced at the lumberjack, he seemed to be watching her. She tried to ignore it, but it was getting under her skin. The lunch rush came and went, and finally, the lumberjack stood up to leave. As he passed by the counter, he paused. Anna tensed. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a few crumpled bills. He placed them on the counter and looked at Anna. "Keep the change," he mumbled, then turned and walked out. Anna stared after him, confused and a little shaken. She picked up the money and saw that he had left a generous tip, much more than his simple coffee warranted. She shook her head, trying to clear her thoughts. She had more pressing things to worry about than the strange behavior of one customer. As the afternoon wore on, Anna's mind kept drifting to her father. It had been 5 years since he disappeared, walking out into a snowstorm and never returning. The loss still ached like a fresh wound. Anna had been close to her father. Growing up, it had been just the two of them against the world. He had taught her to be strong, to stand up for herself, but he had also warned her about the cruelty of the world, especially for a young black woman. Now, as Anna faced the daily prejudices and hardships alone, she missed him more than ever. She wished he was here to guide her, to tell her what to do. Lost in thought, Anna didn't notice the lumberjack had returned until he was standing right in front of her. She startled, nearly dropping the plate she was holding. He looked at her intently. "Sorry, didn't mean to scare you." He paused, seeming to struggle with his words. "I just wanted to apologize if I made you uncomfortable earlier. I'm not good with people." Anna was taken aback. She hadn't expected this from him. "It's okay," she managed to say. "I understand." He nodded, looking relieved. Then he turned and left as abruptly as he had arrived. Anna watched him go, her mind reeling. She didn't know what to make of him. He was a mystery, an enigma that both frightened and intrigued her. As she locked up the diner that night, Anna couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted. The lumberjack's apology, as awkward as it was, had humanized him in a way she hadn't expected. She stepped out into the cold night air, pulling her coat around her. The snow was falling softly, blanketing the world in white. Anna took a deep breath, the cold air filling her lungs. For the first time in a long time, she felt a flicker of hope. Maybe, just maybe, there was more to this town and to the people in it than she had thought. Maybe, even in the depths of winter, there was a chance for a new beginning. Anna turned and started walking home, her footsteps crunching in the fresh snow. Whatever lay ahead, she was ready to face it. With her father's strength in her heart, she knew she could weather any storm. The next morning, Anna arrived at the diner to find the lumberjack already there. He was sitting at his usual table, his hands wrapped around a steaming mug of coffee. Joe must have served him. Anna felt a twinge of nervousness as she approached him. "Good morning. Can I get you anything else?" He looked up at her, his blue eyes piercing. "No, I'm good." "Thanks." Anna nodded and started to turn away, but he stopped her. "Wait. I wanted to give you something." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small wooden object. He held it out to her. Anna hesitated, then took it. It was a delicately carved wooden flower, the petals intricately detailed. She looked at him in surprise. "Did you make this?" He nodded, looking a bit embarrassed. "I thought you might like it." Anna was touched. "It's beautiful." "Thank you." She smiled at him, and for a moment, he smiled back. The moment was broken by the sound of Joe's voice from the kitchen. "Anna, I need you back here." Anna hurried to the kitchen, tucking the wooden flower into her apron pocket. Joe was standing over the grill, looking irritated. "What were you doing out there?" "Flirting with the customers." Anna bristled at his tone. "I was just talking to him. He gave me a gift." Joe snorted. "A gift? What? Does he think you're his girlfriend now? You need to be careful, Anna. Men like that, they're trouble." Anna clenched her jaw, biting back a retort. She knew Joe meant well, but his words stung. It wasn't like that with the lumberjack. At least, she didn't think it was. The day dragged on, and Anna found herself watching the door, waiting for the lumberjack to come back. But he didn't. As the hours ticked by, Anna felt a growing sense of disappointment. When her shift finally ended, Anna bundled up and started the walk home. The sun was setting, casting long shadows across the snow. Anna's mind was whirling with thoughts of the lumberjack and Joe's warning. She was so lost in thought that she didn't realize where her feet were carrying her until she looked up and found herself at the edge of the forest. She blinked, surprised. She had never gone this far out of town before. A movement caught her eye, and she turned to see the lumberjack. He was chopping wood near a small cabin, his axe rising and falling in a steady rhythm. Anna watched him, transfixed. As if sensing her presence, he looked up. Their eyes met, and Anna felt a jolt of electricity run through her. He set down his axe and started walking towards her. Anna's heart was pounding as he approached. He stopped a few feet away from her, his expression unreadable. "What are you doing out here?" he asked. Anna swallowed. I don't know. I was just walking and ended up here. He nodded, as if that made perfect sense. It's going to storm soon. You should head back. As if on cue, the wind picked up, whipping the snow around them. Anna shivered, pulling her coat tighter. I should go, she agreed. But before she could turn to leave, a gust of wind nearly knocked her off her feet. The lumberjack reached out and caught her, his strong hands gripping her arms. Come inside, he said, nodding towards the cabin. Wait out the storm. Anna hesitated, but another blast of icy wind made up her mind. She nodded, and he led her towards the cabin. Inside, it was warm and cozy. A fire crackled in the hearth, casting a soft glow over the room. Anna looked around, taking in the simple furnishings, the neatly stacked piles of wood. Her eyes landed on a shelf filled with wooden carvings. She stepped closer, marveling at the intricate details. There were animals, trees, and, to her surprise, scenes from the town. She recognized the diner, carved in miniature. She turned to look at him. You made all these, he nodded, looking a bit self-conscious. It's a hobby. They're incredible, Anna said sincerely. She looked at him, really looked at him, and saw the man behind the gruff exterior. I'm Anna, by the way. Jason, he replied. My name is Jason. Anna smiled. It's nice to officially meet you, Jason. They talked as the storm raged outside. Jason told her about his life in the woods, about learning to carve from his father. Anna found herself opening up to him in a way she hadn't with anyone in a long time. Hours passed, and the storm showed no signs of letting up. Jason insisted Anna take the bed, and he settled himself on the couch. As Anna drifted off to sleep, she felt a sense of safety, of belonging, that she hadn't felt in years. The next morning, Anna woke to the smell of coffee and the sound of Jason moving around the cabin. She sat up, rubbing her eyes. Jason looked over at her and smiled. Morning. Anna smiled back, feeling a warmth spread through her chest. Morning. They ate breakfast together, talking and laughing like old friends. When it was time for Anna to leave, Jason walked her to the edge of the woods. Thank you, Anna said, for everything. Jason just nodded, his blue eyes warm. Any time. As Anna walked back to town, she couldn't stop smiling. Something had changed between her and Jason, something deep and meaningful. For the first time in a long time, Anna felt hopeful about the future. In the days that followed, Anna found herself looking forward to Jason's visits to the diner more than ever. He came in every morning, always sitting at the same table, always ordering the same black coffee. But now, there was a warmth in his eyes when he looked at her, a slight smile on his lips as she poured his coffee. They talked more, too. Jason started to linger after his coffee, chatting with Anna as she wiped down tables or refilled ketchup bottles. He told her about his latest carvings, about the animals he saw in the woods. Anna found herself sharing stories of her own, about her childhood with her father, about her dreams of leaving this small town someday. But not everyone was happy about their growing friendship. Joe, in particular, seemed to disapprove. He would frown when he saw Jason and Anna talking, muttering under his breath about Anna getting too close to customers. One day, as Anna was clearing Jason's table, Joe cornered her in the kitchen. I don't like the way that guy looks at you, he said, his eyes narrowed. He's trouble, Anna. I can feel it. Anna bristled. He's not trouble. He's my friend. Joe scoffed. Friend? Anna, Guys like that don't want to be friends with girls like you. He wants one thing, and one thing only. Anna felt anger rising in her chest. You don't know him, she snapped. And you don't know me either, if you think I would let myself be used like that. She pushed past Joe and out of the kitchen, her heart pounding. Jason was still at his table, and he looked up as she approached, concern in his eyes. Everything okay? He asked. Anna forced a smile. Everything's fine. Just a little disagreement with Joe. Jason frowned. He giving you trouble? Anna shook her head. Nothing I can't handle. But as she said it, she felt a warmth in her chest at Jason's concern. As the weeks passed, Anna and Jason grew closer. He started bringing her little gifts, a carved wooden animal, a pretty stone he'd found in the woods. Anna treasured each one, keeping them in a special place in her room, but the town was starting to talk. Anna could feel the eyes on her as she walked down the street, could hear the whispers behind her back. That's the girl who's always with that lumberjack, they would say. Wonder what she sees in him. Anna tried to ignore it, but it was getting harder. She knew what they were thinking. What could a young, pretty black girl possibly have in common with a rough, solitary white man like Jason? They couldn't understand, couldn't see past the surface. One evening, as Anna was locking up the diner, Jason appeared out of the shadows. Anna, he said, his voice low and urgent. Can we talk? Anna nodded, her heart in her throat. She followed Jason around the back of the diner to where his truck was parked. He leaned against the hood, his eyes on the ground. I've been thinking, he said finally, about us, about what people are saying. Anna's stomach clenched. What about it? Jason sighed. I don't care what they think, but I care about you, Anna. I don't want to make things harder for you. Anna stepped closer to him. Jason, I don't care what they think either. All I care about is you. Jason looked at her then, his blue eyes intense. Anna, He trailed off, seeming to struggle with his words. I'm not good at this, at talking about feelings. But I need you to know, you're the best thing that's ever happened to me. Anna felt tears pricking at her eyes. She reached for Jason's hand, intertwining her fingers with his. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me, too, she whispered. Jason pulled her to him then, wrapping his arms around her. Anna buried her face in his chest, breathing in his scent of wood smoke and pine. In that moment, everything else fell away. The whispers, the disapproving looks, the weight of the world on her shoulders. In Jason's arms, Anna felt safe, cherished, loved. They stayed like that for a long time, just holding each other in the darkness. When they finally pulled apart, Jason cupped Anna's face in his hands. I won't let anyone hurt you, he promised. Not Joe, not this town, no one. I'll always protect you, Anna. Anna nodded, too choked up to speak. She knew, with a certainty that went soul deep, that Jason meant every word. From that night on, Anna and Jason were inseparable. They spent every free moment together, talking, laughing, simply enjoying each other's company. Anna had never felt so understood, so accepted, so completely herself with another person. Even as the town's disapproval grew, even as Joe's comments became more pointed and cruel, Anna held fast to Jason and the love they shared. She knew, now, that she could face anything with him by her side. Winter was coming to an end, the snow starting to melt, and the first green shoots appearing, and as the world around them thawed, Anna felt her own heart thawing too, opening up to the warmth and love that Jason brought into her life. She knew there would be challenges ahead. A love like theirs, in a town like this, would never be easy. But Anna was ready to fight for it, to fight for their future, together. Spring was coming, and with it, the promise of new beginnings. And hand in hand with Jason, Anna knew she was ready to embrace whatever the future held. Spring had arrived in full force, the last of the snow melting away to reveal fresh green grass and budding trees. Anna watched from the window of the diner as the town came to life, people shedding their heavy winter coats and basking in the warm sunlight. But even as the world around her bloomed, Anna couldn't shake the feeling of unease that had been growing in her stomach. It had been days since she'd seen Jason. He hadn't come to the diner, hadn't left any messages. It was like he had vanished into thin air. Anna tried to tell herself not to worry. Jason was a grown man. He could take care of himself. But the longer his absence stretched, the more her anxiety grew. She found herself snapping at customers, burning toast, her mind constantly wandering to dark places. Finally, on the fourth day of Jason's disappearance, Anna couldn't take it anymore. As soon as her shift ended, she practically ran out of the diner, heading straight for the woods. She found Jason's cabin easily, but as she approached, her heart sank. The windows were dark, the door shut tight. It looked abandoned, lifeless. Anna knocked on the door, her heart in her throat. No answer. She knocked again, harder. Still nothing. Panic rising in her chest, Anna tried the handle. To her surprise, the door swung open. She stepped inside, blinking in the dimness. "Jason!" she called, her voice echoing in the empty cabin. "Jason, are you here?" Silence. Anna moved further into the room, her eyes adjusting to the low light. Everything looked the same as the last time she'd been here. The cozy fire, the carved wooden animals. But something was missing. Someone. Anna was about to turn and leave when she saw it. A piece of paper on the table, weighted down by a carved wooden rose. With shaking hands, Anna picked it up. "Anna," the note read, "I'm sorry. I had to go. Please don't look for me. It's better this way. I love you." "Jason!" Anna stared at the words, uncomprehending. He was gone? Just like that? No explanation? No goodbye? She sank into a chair, the note clutched in her hand. Tears streamed down her face as the reality sank in. Jason was gone. He had left her. Anna didn't remember walking back to town, didn't remember the pitying looks from the diner patrons as she stumbled in, her eyes red and puffy. She worked the rest of her shift in a daze, going through the motions like a robot. As soon as she was done, she went straight home and collapsed into bed. The wooden rose Jason had left clutched to her chest. She cried until there were no tears left, until her body ached and her head throbbed. In the days that followed, Anna went through the motions of life. She went to work, served coffee and eggs, smiled at the customers. But inside, she was numb. It was like Jason had taken a piece of her with him when he left, leaving behind a gaping, aching void. The town, of course, noticed Jason's absence. The whispers started again, but this time they were tinged with a perverse sort of satisfaction. "Guess she wasn't enough for him after all," Anna overheard one woman say. "Always knew he'd get tired of her." Anna tried to ignore it, but each whisper, each snide comment was like a knife to her heart. She had thought Jason was different, that their love was stronger than the small-mindedness of this town. But in the end, maybe she had been foolish to believe that. Weeks passed, and the pain didn't lessen. Anna went through the days in a fog, barely eating, barely sleeping. She knew people were worried about her. Joe kept shooting her concerned looks, and even some of the regular customers asked if she was okay. But Anna couldn't bring herself to care. Then, one day, everything changed. Anna was wiping down tables after the lunch rush when the bell over the door jingled. She looked up, and her heart stopped. It was Jason. He stood in the doorway, his hair a bit longer, his beard a bit scruffier. But it was him, unmistakably him. Anna stared, unable to move, unable to breathe. Jason stared back, his blue eyes filled with a turmoil of emotions. "Anna," he said, his voice rough, "can we talk?" Anna nodded mutely, untying her apron with shaking hands. She followed Jason outside, around to the back of the diner. As soon as they were alone, Anna found her voice. "Where have you been?" she asked, her tone harsher than she intended. "Why did you leave?" Jason ran a hand over his face. He looked tired, Anna realized, tired and sad. "I had to," he said. "Anna, I haven't been fully honest with you." Anna felt a chill run down her spine. "What do you mean?" Jason took a deep breath. "Remember when I told you I came to this town to get away from my past? Well, my past caught up with me. I got word that the man I thought I'd killed, the one I went to prison for, he's alive, Anna. He survived, and he's been looking for me." Anna stared at him, shock rendering her speechless. Jason pressed on, his words coming faster now. "I had to leave to lead him away from here, away from you. I couldn't bear the thought of him hurting you to get to me. I thought if I disappeared, you'd be safe." Anna found her voice. "So you just left, without a word. Jason, I could have helped you. We could have faced this together." Jason shook his head. "I couldn't risk it. Anna, if anything happened to you because of me, I'd never forgive myself." Anna stepped closer to him, taking his hands in hers. They were rough, calloused, but they were warm and familiar. "Jason, I love you. Whatever you're facing, I want to face it with you. You don't have to do this alone anymore." Jason stared at her, his eyes shining with unshed tears. "Anna, I don't deserve you." Anna smiled through her own tears. "Well, tough. You've got me, and I'm not going anywhere." Jason pulled her into his arms then, holding her tight. Anna clung to him, breathing in his familiar scent, feeling the steady beat of his heart against her cheek. She knew there would be challenges ahead. Jason's past, the town's judgment, the uncertain future. But in that moment, none of it mattered. All that mattered was that he was here, he was safe, and he was hers. "We'll figure it out," Anna whispered into his chest. "Together. I promise." And standing there in Jason's arms, feeling his love and his strength surrounding her, Anna knew that no matter what the future held, they would face it side by side. The revelation of Jason's past hung heavy in the air between them in the days that followed. Anna could see the weight of it on Jason's shoulders, the way his eyes would sometimes drift off into the distance, as if he were seeing ghosts. She tried to be there for him, to offer comfort and support where she could. But there was a part of Jason that remained closed off, a part that Anna couldn't quite reach. One evening, as they sat together on the porch of Jason's cabin, watching the sun set over the trees, Anna finally broached the subject. "Jason," she said softly, "I know you're carrying a heavy burden, but you don't have to carry it alone. I'm here for you, no matter what. Jason was silent for a long moment. Then, slowly, he began to speak. He told Anna everything about the fight that had led to his imprisonment, about the years he'd spent locked away, consumed by guilt and regret. He told her about the day he was released, how he'd come to this town looking for a fresh start, a chance to leave his past behind. "But you can't ever really escape your past," Jason said, his voice heavy. "It always catches up to you in the end." Anna reached for his hand, intertwining her fingers with his. "Jason, your past doesn't define you. The man I know, the man I love, he's kind and gentle and good. That's who you really are." Jason looked at her. Then, his blue eyes filled with a tender sort of wonder. "Anna, I don't know what I did to deserve you, but I thank God every day that you're in my life." Anna smiled, leaning in to kiss him softly. "I feel the same way about you." They sat there together as the last light faded from the sky, hand in hand, hearts full. For a moment, the rest of the world fell away, and it was just the two of them, wrapped in the warmth of their love. But the peace couldn't last forever. The next day, as Anna was working her shift at the diner, a stranger walked in. He was a tall man with a hard, weathered face and cold eyes. He scanned the diner, his gaze settling on Anna. A slow, unsettling smile spread across his face. Anna felt a chill run down her spine. She knew, instinctively, that this man meant trouble. He approached the counter, leaning in close. "You're Anna, right?" he said, his voice low and menacing. "Jason's girl." Anna felt her heart skip a beat. She forced herself to keep her voice steady. "I don't know what you're talking about." The man chuckled, a cold, mirthless sound. "Oh, I think you do. See, Jason and I have some unfinished business. And I have a feeling you're going to help me settle the score." Anna gripped the edge of the counter, her knuckles turning white. "I think you should leave." The man's smile widened. "Oh, I will. But I'll be back. And next time, you'd better have some answers for me." With that, he turned and walked out, leaving Anna shaking and terrified. She knew she had to warn Jason, had to tell him what had happened. But a part of her hesitated. Jason had been through so much already. She didn't want to add to his burdens. In the end, though, she knew she had no choice. That evening, as they walked together through the woods, Anna told Jason about the stranger. Jason's face grew grim as he listened. "It's him," he said, his voice tight. "The man from my past. He's found me." Anna gripped his hand tighter. Jason, we have to go to the police. We have to tell them what's happening." But Jason shook his head. "The police can't help us, Anna. This man, he's dangerous. He has connections, influence. Going to the authorities will only make things worse." Anna felt a swell of fear rising in her chest. "Then, what do we do?" Jason was silent for a long moment. Then he spoke. "We have to face him, Anna. It's the only way. I have to confront my past, once and for all." Anna stared at him, her heart pounding. She knew Jason was right. But the thought of him facing that man, of putting himself in danger, it terrified her. "I'm coming with you," she said, her voice shaking but determined. "I won't let you do this alone." Jason started to protest, but Anna cut him off. "No, Jason, we're in this together. Whatever happens, we face it side by side." Jason stared at her, his eyes filled with a fierce, protective love. Then, slowly, He nodded. They made their plan. They would confront the man together, try to reason with him, make him see that the past was in the past. If that didn't work, well, they would cross that bridge when they came to it. The night before they were set to face Jason's demons, they lay together in the darkness of Jason's cabin, holding each other close. Anna could feel the tension in Jason's body, the fear and determination warring within him. "Jason," she whispered, "no matter what happens tomorrow, I need you to know I love you. I love you more than anything in this world." Jason pulled her closer, burying his face in her hair. "I love you too, Anna, more than life itself." They clung to each other as the night wore on, drawing strength and comfort from the warmth of their embrace. Whatever the morning brought, they would face it together, always together. The morning dawned cold and gray, a fitting reflection of the trepidation in Anna's heart. She and Jason had barely slept, their bodies intertwined, drawing comfort from each other's presence. Now, as they stepped out into the chill air, Anna could feel the weight of what they were about to do settling heavily on her shoulders. She glanced at Jason, saw the grim determination in his eyes, the set of his jaw. They had agreed to meet the man at the old mill on the outskirts of town. It was a desolate place, far from prying eyes and ears, the perfect spot for a confrontation. As they drove, Anna clutched Jason's hand, her fingers intertwined with his. They didn't speak, but the silence was heavy with unspoken fears and unspoken love. When they arrived at the mill, the man was already there, leaning against his car with a casual arrogance that made Anna's skin crawl. He straightened up as they approached, a cold smile playing at the corners of his mouth. "Well, well," he said, his voice dripping with menace. "The lovebirds have arrived." Jason stepped forward, placing himself between Anna and the man. "What do you want, Marcus?" he asked, his voice tight with controlled anger. Marcus chuckled, a sound devoid of humor. "What do I want? I want what's owed to me, Jason. I want the years you stole from me when you left me for dead." Anna saw Jason's shoulders tighten, saw the flash of pain and guilt in his eyes. "I didn't mean for that to happen," he said, his voice low. "I thought you were dead. I've regretted it every day since." Marcus's face twisted into a sneer. "Your regret means nothing to me. You ruined my life, Jason. And now I'm going to ruin yours." He reached into his jacket, and Anna's heart stopped. But instead of a gun, he pulled out a thick envelope. "I have proof, Jason," he said, waving the envelope. "Proof that you're a murderer. I have witnesses. I have evidence. And if you don't do exactly as I say, I'll make sure this proof finds its way to the police." Anna saw the color drain from Jason's face. "What do you want me to do?" he asked, his voice hollow. Marcus smiled, a cruel, triumphant smile. "I want you to leave. Leave this town, leave your little girlfriend, leave everything behind. You have 24 hours. If I ever see your face again, I'll make sure you spend the rest of your life behind bars." With that, he tossed the envelope at Jason's feet and turned to walk away. But Anna couldn't let it end like this. She couldn't let this man, this monster, win. "Wait!" she called out, her voice shaking but determined. Marcus paused, turning back with a raised eyebrow. Anna stepped forward, her heart pounding. "You can't do this," she said. "You can't just come here and destroy our lives." Marcus laughed, a cold, cruel sound. "Oh, sweetie, I can do whatever I want." But Anna wasn't backing down. No, she said, her voice growing stronger. No, you can't, because we won't let you. She turned to Jason, her eyes blazing. Jason, you can't let him control you like this. You can't let him take you away from me. Jason stared at her, his eyes filled with a turmoil of emotions. Anna, I don't have a choice. Yes, you do, Anna insisted. We fight for our love, for our future. We don't let him win. She could see the fear in Jason's eyes, but she could also see the love, the determination. Slowly, he nodded. They turned back to Marcus, hand in hand, united. We're not going anywhere, Jason said, his voice steady. And if you try to hurt us, we'll fight you every step of the way. Marcus's face contorted with rage. You'll regret this, he snarled. Both of you. But Anna could see the uncertainty behind his anger, the realization that maybe, just maybe, he had underestimated them. Leave, she said, her voice cold. Leave, and don't come back. For a long, tense moment, Marcus stared at them, his eyes filled with hatred. Then, without a word, he turned and stalked away. As the sound of his car faded into the distance, Anna felt Jason's arms wrap around her, felt his body shaking with relief and love. Anna, he whispered, his voice choked with emotion. I can't believe you did that. I can't believe you stood up to him like that for me. Anna held him tighter, her own tears mingling with his. I'd do anything for you, Jason. Anything. They stood there in each other's arms as the sun began to break through the clouds, the first tentative rays of hope after the long, dark night. They knew it wasn't over. Marcus was still out there, still a threat, but they also knew that they were stronger together, that their love could weather any storm. As they walked hand in hand back to the car, Anna felt a sense of peace settle over her. No matter what the future held, she knew she could face it with Jason by her side. Their journey wasn't over. In many ways, it was just beginning. But Anna knew, with a certainty that went soul deep, that as long as they had each other, they could overcome anything. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but it would be theirs, every step of the way. The days that followed were a whirlwind of activity and emotion. Jason and Anna knew they couldn't stay in town, not with the threat of Marcus still hanging over their heads. They had to leave, had to start fresh somewhere new. It was a difficult decision, one filled with tears and heartache. Anna had lived in this town her whole life, had never imagined leaving, but she knew, with a certainty that went bone deep, that her place was with Jason, wherever that might be. They made their plans quickly, quietly. Jason sold his cabin. Anna gave her notice at the diner. They packed their few belongings, said their goodbyes to the handful of people they trusted. On their last night in town, they lay together in Anna's small bed, holding each other close. Anna could feel Jason's heart beating against her own, could feel the warmth of his skin, the strength of his arms around her. Anna, Jason whispered in the darkness, I'm scared. Anna held him tighter, her own tears falling silently. I know, my love. I'm scared too, but we'll be okay. As long as we're together, we'll be okay. The next morning, they loaded their bags into Jason's old truck and set off, the rising sun at their backs. They didn't know where they were going, didn't have a plan beyond getting as far away as possible. They drove for hours, stopping only for gas and food. Anna watched the landscape change, the familiar trees and hills giving way to vast, open plains. As the miles fell away behind them, Anna could feel the weight lifting from her shoulders, could feel the tightness in her chest easing. For the first time in longer than she could remember, she felt free. They finally stopped for the night at a small motel on the outskirts of a town they'd never heard of. The room was small and dingy, but to Anna, it felt like a palace. They lay together on the lumpy mattress, their bodies intertwined, their hearts beating as one. And as they made love, slowly, tenderly, Anna felt the last of her fears melt away. They were together. They were safe. They were free. The next few weeks were a blur of new towns, new faces, new experiences. They took odd jobs where they could find them, saved every penny they could. They slept in the truck more often than not, ate cheap food from gas stations and diners. But through it all, they had each other. And that was enough. One evening, as they sat together on the hood of the truck, watching the sun set over the endless horizon, Jason turned to Anna, his eyes serious. "Anna," he said softly, "I need to tell you something." Anna felt a flicker of fear, but she pushed it away. "What is it, my love?" Jason took a deep breath. "I've been thinking about Marcus, about what he said, about the evidence he has against me." Anna started to protest, but Jason quieted her with a gentle touch. "Anna, I can't run forever. I can't spend the rest of my life looking over my shoulder, waiting for the past to catch up with me." Anna felt tears welling in her eyes. "What are you saying, Jason?" Jason cupped her face in his hands, his gaze intense. "I'm saying, I want to turn myself in, Anna. I want to face what I've done, pay for my crimes." Anna shook her head, her tears spilling over. "No, Jason, no, we can't. I can't lose you." Jason pulled her close, his own tears mingling with hers. "You won't lose me, Anna, I promise. But I have to do this. For me, for us. It's the only way we can truly be free." Anna clung to him, her heart breaking. She knew he was right, knew that the shadow of his past would always haunt them if he didn't face it. But the thought of being without him, even for a moment, was more than she could bear. In the end, though, she knew she had to let him go, had to trust in their love, in the strength of their bond. They made their plans, contacted a lawyer Jason trusted, and on a cold, gray morning, Jason turned himself in to the authorities. The trial was long and difficult, the evidence against Jason damning. But through it all, Anna stood by his side, her love and support unwavering. In the end, the judge was lenient. Jason's remorse, his efforts to turn his life around, his commitment to making amends, they all spoke in his favor. He was sentenced to 5 years, with the possibility of parole in 3. As the guards led him away, Jason looked back at Anna, his eyes filled with love and apology. "Wait for me," he mouthed, and Anna nodded, her heart in her throat. "Always," she whispered, "always." The years that followed were the hardest of Anna's life. She visited Jason as often as she could, wrote him letters every day. She worked hard, saved every penny, dreamed of the day when they would be together again. And through it all, their love only grew stronger, deeper. The distance between them, the obstacles they faced, none of it mattered. They were bound by something far greater, far more powerful. And when the day finally came, when Jason walked out of those prison gates a free man, Anna was there waiting for him, her heart soaring with joy and love. They held each other tight, their tears of happiness mixing together. And as they walked hand in hand into their new life, Anna knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. Always together. Now and forever. The sun was setting over the small town, casting a warm golden glow over the quiet streets. Anna stood on the porch of their little house, watching the light fade, her heart full. It had been a year since Jason's release, a year of rebuilding, of healing, of learning to live again. It hadn't been easy. There were still nights when Jason woke screaming, haunted by the ghosts of his past. There were still days when the weight of what they'd been through threatened to crush them. But they had each other, and that was enough. Anna heard the screen door creak open behind her, felt Jason's strong arms wrap around her waist. She leaned back into his embrace, savoring his warmth, his solidity. "Penny for your thoughts," Jason murmured, his breath warm against her ear. Anna smiled. "I was just thinking about how far we've come, about how lucky we are." Jason pressed a kiss to her temple. "We are lucky. Every day I wake up and I can't believe I get to be here with you. Can't believe I get a second chance." Anna turned in his arms, looking up at him. In the fading light, his blue eyes were soft, tender. "You deserve this, Jason. You deserve happiness and love and peace." He touched his forehead to hers. "I have all of that, Anna. Because of you." They stood like that for a long moment, just holding each other, breathing each other in. Then Jason pulled back slightly, his expression turning serious. "Anna, there's something I need to ask you." Anna felt a flicker of nervousness, but she pushed it away. "What is it, my love?" Jason took a deep breath. Then, slowly, he sank down to one knee. Anna's heart stopped. "Anna," Jason said, his voice shaking slightly, "I love you. I love you more than I ever thought it was possible to love another person. You are my light, my home, my everything." He reached into his pocket, pulled out a small velvet box. "I know I don't deserve you. I know I'm not worthy of your love, your devotion. But if you'll have me, if you'll be mine, it would be the greatest honor of my life." He opened the box, revealing a simple silver band. "Anna, will you marry me?" Anna stared at him, her vision blurring with tears. For a moment, she couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. Then, slowly, she sank to her knees in front of him. "Yes," she whispered, her voice choked with emotion. "Yes, Jason. 1,000 times yes." Jason slipped the ring onto her finger, his own tears falling freely now. Then he pulled her into his arms, holding her tight as they both wept with joy. They were married in a small ceremony in their backyard, surrounded by the handful of friends they had made in their new town. Anna wore a simple white dress, carried a bouquet of wildflowers. Jason wore his best suit, his eyes shining with love and pride. As they stood together under the arch, exchanging their vows, Anna felt a sense of peace wash over her. This was where she was meant to be. This was the life she was meant to live. The years passed, and their love only grew stronger. They faced challenges, as all couples do. There were fights, misunderstandings, moments of doubt and fear. But they always found their way back to each other. Always remembered the love that bound them, the unbreakable bond they shared. They built a life together, a beautiful, messy, imperfect life. Anna opened a small bakery, pouring her love and passion into every cake and pastry. Jason started a woodworking business, crafting beautiful pieces that were cherished by all who received them. And on a warm summer evening, 5 years after their wedding, Anna gave Jason the news that would change their lives forever. "I'm pregnant," she whispered, her eyes shining with joy and wonder. Jason stared at her for a long moment, his expression unreadable. Then, slowly, a smile spread across his face, brighter than the sun. "We're going to be parents," he said, his voice filled with awe. "Anna, we're going to have a family." Anna nodded, happy tears spilling down her cheeks. "We are, and it's going to be amazing." The months that followed were filled with excitement and anticipation. They prepared the nursery, chose names, dreamed of the future. And when the day finally came, when Anna held their daughter in her arms for the first time, she knew that every struggle, every hardship, every moment of pain had been worth it. They named her Hope, for that was what she represented. Hope for a better future. Hope for a life filled with love and joy and peace. As Anna watched Jason cradle their daughter, watched the tenderness and adoration in his eyes, she felt a sense of completeness wash over her. This was their happily ever after. This was the life they had fought for, the love they had earned. And as the sun rose on a new day, as their little family began their journey together, Anna knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them hand in hand, together, always together. The years flew by, filled with laughter and love, with the joys and challenges of parenthood. Hope grew into a beautiful, precocious child, with Anna's warm brown eyes and Jason's easy smile. She was their world, their everything. Anna and Jason faced the trials of life together, leaning on each other's strength, drawing comfort from their unshakable bond. There were difficult times, money was tight, the bakery struggled, Jason's past still cast a shadow. But they weathered every storm, emerged stronger and more in love than ever. On Hope's 5th birthday, they took a trip to the coast, to the beach where Jason had proposed all those years ago. As they walked along the shore, hand in hand, watching Hope run and play in the waves, Anna felt a sense of profound gratitude wash over her. "Thank you," she said softly, squeezing Jason's hand. He looked at her, his blue eyes questioning. "For what, my love?" Anna smiled, her vision blurring with tears. "For this, for our life, our family, for loving me, even when I didn't make it easy." Jason stopped, turning to face her. He cupped her face in his hands, his touch gentle, reverent. "Anna," he said, his voice rough with emotion, "loving you is the easiest thing I've ever done. You saved me. In every way a person can be saved." He kissed her, then, softly, tenderly. Anna melted into his embrace, into the warmth and strength of him. When they parted, Jason smiled down at her, his eyes shining. "I have a surprise for you," he said. Anna raised an eyebrow. "A surprise? What kind of surprise?" Jason took her hand, led her up the beach to where a small picnic was set up. There was a basket, a blanket, a bottle of wine. And on the blanket, glinting in the sun, were 2 plane tickets. Anna stared at them, her heart racing. "Jason, what?" He grinned, his excitement palpable. "We're going to Paris, Anna, for our anniversary. Just you and me." Anna gaped at him, shocked and thrilled in equal measure. "But how? The bakery? Hope?" "I've taken care of everything," Jason assured her. "The bakery will be fine, and your mother is thrilled to watch Hope for a week." Tears spilled down Anna's cheeks, tears of joy, of love, of overwhelming gratitude. "Jason, I don't know what to say. He pulled her close, held her tight. Say you'll come with me, he whispered. Say you'll let me show you the world, the way you've shown me love. Anna nodded, too choked with emotion to speak. The trip was everything she had dreamed of and more. They walked hand in hand along the Seine, marveled at the beauty of the Eiffel Tower, got lost in the art of the Louvre. They ate in cozy cafes, drank wine under the stars, made love in their tiny hotel room with the sounds of the city drifting through the open window. And on their last night, as they stood on the balcony overlooking the twinkling lights of Paris, Jason turned to Anna, his expression serious. Anna, he said softly, there's something I need to tell you. Anna felt a flicker of nervousness. Oh, what is it, my love? Jason took a deep breath. I got a call while we were here, from the prison. Anna's heart stopped. The prison? Why? Jason's eyes were soft, apologetic. It's Marcus. He's dying, Anna. Cancer. He doesn't have much time left. Anna stared at him, a million emotions swirling through her. Fear, anger, pity, confusion. What does he want? She asked finally, her voice barely above a whisper. Jason sighed. He wants to see me, to apologize, he says, to make amends before... He trailed off, but Anna understood. Before it was too late. She was quiet for a long moment, her mind racing. The thought of Jason facing that man again, of reopening those old wounds. But as she looked at her husband, at the man she loved more than life itself, she knew what she had to do. Then we'll go, she said softly. Together. We'll face this, like we faced everything else. Jason's eyes widened. Anna, no, I can't ask you to... But Anna silenced him with a gentle touch. You're not asking, I'm offering. I'm your wife, Jason, your partner. Where you go, I go. Tears spilled down Jason's cheeks. Tears of love, of gratitude. He pulled her into his arms, held her close. I love you, he whispered. I love you so much. The visit to the prison was one of the hardest things Anna had ever done. Seeing Marcus again, ravaged by illness, but still with that glint of malice in his eyes, it took every ounce of strength she had not to turn and run. But she held fast to Jason's hand, drew courage from his presence beside her. And as Marcus spoke, his voice weak and raspy, Anna felt something unexpected stir in her heart. Pity, compassion, forgiveness. I'm sorry, Marcus said, his eyes filled with tears. For everything I put you through, for the pain I caused. I was a different man then, a broken man. Jason was silent for a long moment. Then, slowly, he reached out, took Marcus's hand in his own. I forgive you, he said softly. I forgive you, Marcus. Anna watched, her heart full to bursting, as the two men wept together, as years of pain and anger and bitterness melted away, and she knew, with a certainty that went soul deep, that this was the final piece of the puzzle, the last hurdle they had to overcome, to truly be free. They left the prison hand in hand, their hearts light, their spirits soaring. And as they walked out into the sunlight, into the bright, beautiful world that awaited them, Anna knew that their journey was finally, truly complete. They had found their happily ever after. They had found each other, and that was enough. More than enough. It was everything. If you enjoyed this story, don't miss the next one. Just click on the screen.